showtime.
Fire and water, earth and the sky, mysteries surround us, legends never die. We're here for the moment, lost in time. I can hear them call, they're locked within the crystal ball.
Hey everybody, it's the T-Rock100 and welcome back to more of Pokémon Shining Pearl. Last time, we continued our exploration in the northeastern part of Sinnoh, whatever you want to call this on. The Survival Island? Yeah, we'll call it the Survival Island. I don't remember if that's what it's really called, but whatever. This time, we got some more exploring around to do, and we might actually be tackling the northern parts in this episode. So, while we're here at the resort area, we have a lone Pokemon that we can find, but let me see something. You know, I actually looked more into this. It is actually when you have 10 ribbons. I'm curious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. I feel like it's contradicting something either I looked up was wrong, but whatever. So while we're out here, we have one new Pokemon that we can find, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but we ran out of time, and there were just a lot of bios to do it from before, but there's more to come, yay! Let's just get into it. Seaking, the evolution of Goldeen, another classic. You're gonna be seeing a lot of classics, but Seaking as a Pokemon, it actually is considered to be one of the most interesting Pokemon if used in many ways. But what really makes it stand out is, of course, Swift Swim, very nice to have, great for a ranged summoner. Of course, it prevents it from getting burned, because why would you want to have fish sticks out of this goldfish? But for competitive use, with a lightning rod, having your partner with an electric type move, even as Seaking, and that special attack stat will actually prove him to be rather nice, making it a somewhat decent mixed attacker. It also comes armed with some very good moves so later on. In fact, I think at the highest end that you can find it out here is level 55, so it's actually one move away from being able to have access to all the moves and that it knows naturally. So if you want to have a good Seaking and you chose not to go for a Goldeen earlier, there you go, here's your chance. Unfortunately, given none of its, well, history, that's about where the real positives at. The only really good moves that it will complement its type is Aqua Jet and Waterfall. Waterfall was the original, well, Seaking and Goldeen were the original Pokemon that can learn Waterfall naturally, but in all seriousness, it's decent for how it is. I just gotta say this as a prime example of a Pokemon that came a little too late. All in all, Seaking's great, it just came a little late. Alright. And that one's only just scraping the surface, because 229 had the bottle of drugs. It's also a speck of land in the corner. If you guys thinking that says, okay, crackhead. Like I'm trying to say, if you guys thought that getting to this is gonna be pretty easy, oh no. We have, let's see here. Yep, 10 new Pokemon that we can find. The most that well, I guess, second most in that we've seen and from behind the Great Marsh. And quite frankly, this is where things are gonna get a little bit wonky. Fortunately, a majority of these are evolution Pokemon, so talking about them is gonna be pretty straightforward. So, hold me. Let's get right to them. Oddish and Gloom! Once again, another group of classics. Grass poison types that can work in a variety of different ways. starting off with how it is with Oddish, on its own, it's okay, I guess. Both of its abilities are okay, I guess. Runaway just ensures an easy getaway. But why would you want to use that for when you can have Chlorophyll, doubling its speed in Sunshine? I actually kind of like the Oddish line in a little bit. However, if you have a Gloom with Stench for the ability, which would have been replacement from Runaway, this may potentially cause the opponent to flinch on certain moves, and, well, actually, all the moves, regardless if it's physical or special. This can get out of hand very quickly. You have two options to go for it in terms of evolution-wise, if you want to evolve it further. You have another Grass Poison Classic, and that's just as strong. Or a Monotype with the use of a Sunstone to have it to become kind of a more balanced out Pokemon. Both of them are really nice to say the least, but personally, I'm kind of a big fan of Vileplume personally, because it has some better type bonuses and actually has a couple more resistances. The choice is yours to make, but if you really want one, I definitely would recommend Chlorophyll over the other. Unless if you want to get competitive and try to potentially go for something that's going to be a little bit smelly. Next up are a couple more of my personal favorites that actually have some pretty good use in a few different ways. Bellsprout and Weeping Bell. I consider these two to be really decent mixed attackers. And unfortunately, this is once again of a situation where if it's a swing in the mids, they're going to not last another turn, but you get the idea. A majority of its best moves are usually through TMs. And unfortunately, having TMs are limited use in this particular in these particular games. But that does not mean that they have any bad usage. If you definitely want one, Chlorophyll obviously is the one to go for. And Glutton, I guess if you want to have your opponent waste their berries sooner than usual, okay, I guess. They'll be pretty high enough level to learn all of its moves naturally. So, if there's a move that you really want to have Weeping Bell to have, here you go. It's just a nice catch away, and you'll get some pretty decent moves in the process. The best ones are through TMs, but experiment. I think you might actually find some pretty good use out of them. Next up, only found in Brilliant Diamond, Scyther. And oh boy, does this Pokemon have a lot of good things. Once again, another classic. It's one of my personal favorites. All three of its abilities complement for what Scyther is known for. But what's really cool is that even though that you could technically evolve it if you want, both Scyther and Scizzor's stats are identical, but they're kind of a little bit more balanced. If you want one with a Scizor, Technician is probably going to be the best one to go for, because some of his weaker moves that it knows naturally, like say Bullet Punch, will get a very nice buff to that, especially since it'll have a team's type attack bonus. Nobody will blame you for what Pokemon that you have in terms of the evolution line. Your options are a really fast physical sweeper that can deal a lot of good hits, but unfortunately can't take a lot. Or a Steel Bug type, but that could tank a lot, has a lot more resistances, has a major weakness to fire. But it has a whole lot of better movesets and better resistances to complement for what it is. This is a good Pokemon, and hot damn, it could be a good choice to go for. Its counterparts in Shining Pearl, Pinsir. Is it basically a Scyther without the flying type? It doesn't evolve, doesn't need to. Although I guess it did get a Mega Evolution, but I digress. Pinsir Pinsir's main purpose is to make sure that it constantly... This Dusclops just killed itself. Pinsir's main purpose is to make sure to keep its attack stats high, and hence that two of its abilities that definitely get that job done very nicely. Hypercutter prevents it from lowering its attack stat, Moxie to boost the attack stat after knocking out a Pokemon, and Mold Breaker pretty much kind of works as a bit of an anti-ability, so to speak. It's not bad to say the least, but it can be a bit of a challenge if you don't know what you're doing. They're very good, and unfortunately, unlike Scyther, which I gave a lot of praise to, this is about where some of the real positives end. I kind of see this one as a little bit on the squishy side, especially if you're going up against opponents that are known for being specially offensive Pokemon, and unfortunately, Pinsir is not exactly the fastest bug you'll be seeing all around. All in all, Pinsir's great. It definitely knows how to be a great physically offensive hitter, but you might want to think about how you want to use it before you do something you're going to regret in the long run. What's next? The Resort didn't gave us on a lot of fully evolved Pokemon that are pretty good, and a lot of the Pokemons are pre-evolutions, but you decided to throw me a Ladian? Alright. So, Ladian. I actually kind of see this Pokemon as one that got a little bit better in later generations after its debut. It's mostly meant to be as a pretty decent special wall, but I guess Swarm's nice. Silver Wind's okay, which are one of the best bug types that you'll find. And I kind of want to say that it knows Quiver Dance, which will help out in some way, I guess. But what is the point if a majority of the Pokemon that you're going to be facing have the advantage? Plus, I guess if you want one that's okay, I guess having Swarm or Iron Fist is going to be the good one to go for, because it actually knows some pretty good punching moves, but do you really want Comet Punch, which is just another version of Double Slap? Yeah, no. Let's get on into a Pokemon that's actually a little bit better in a few ways, I guess, with Ariados. It's another bug poison type, and just like its Ladybug counterpart, I guess you want to call it that. It's decent in the way in terms of stat distribution. It's very balanced, and it can be challenging to say the least. And also, why does this thing have Sniper? I guess it can know some pretty good moves, and that could be decent critical hit ratio moves. But let's face it, you're better off with Swarm or Insomnia, personally. And just like it's been before, it's balanced, and it can be somewhat better in many ways than Lydian, I guess. But like I said, your mileage may vary on how it works, but just there's a lot of better bug types out there. Just have fun. Let's get on to a couple of bug Pokemon that are actually some worth use in a few ways, I guess. Volbeat. This is actually not a bad Pokemon. I kind of see this as a Pokemon that kind of works in a few variety of ways. In fact, this is one of two Pokemon, the other being Manaphy, that can learn the move Tail Glow. This is a special counter to that of the Swords Dance. In fact, it actually works to it in very good ways. Especially since that special attack stat is probably the worst out of it all. And I think you might be seeing where I'm kind of going with this one. It's a very decent Pokemon, but unfortunately, that sort of Pokemon things are going to get a little bit squishy in the process. Because, hey, it's a bug. It's decent in terms of speed, and its physical offensive stats are okay, I guess, but I guess if you want a Pokemon that knows Flash naturally, there you go. That's pretty much all of the good things I can ever really say about it. And finally, hailing from the questionable place of work, they get the name wrong in many ways, Illumise, the female counterpart and the more defensive Volbeat. Not a whole lot really needs to be said about this, but I want to take a time to talk about Tinted Lens, one of the abilities that it has. Not very effective moves will actually do normal damage, and that could be pretty decent as it is, as a majority of the Pokemon that you'll be facing actually resist bugs. I think you might be seeing where this is going here. In fact, back it up when it could potentially have tinted lenses. I kind of want to say if it was after Generation 3, I don't remember. I actually kind of considered using Illumise to kind of show up on how good it is. But honestly, I struggle to find some decency out of this. They're not bad to say the least. I just kind of say is that Illumise is okay for what it is, but it can be a challenge if the correct standards aren't made. Volbeat I would probably recommend a little bit more if you can go for competitive play, but Illumise a little bit more if you want to pretty much be a tank. You want to know what sucks? Do you really want to know what sucks? We're not done with bios in this episode. In fact, I actually kind of thought you were going to cover the Pokemon only for routes 226 in the resort area, but it's actually kind of funny because I got to pretty much come up with some of the other ones by default at this point, but it should be pretty straightforward, I guess. Oh boy. Yeah, I need to put up another repel. These trainers right here, I'm just gonna try to skip over because they're mostly here for fodder, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to be mean. Oh, actually, do I even remember if there were any new Pokemon from out here? But if there is, then I'll cover them another time. But there is some things up here that are worth my time collecting. You. A rare candy. You know, I'm still curious. What would happen if a human ate a rare candy? Did they just get older? Did they get stronger? Did they get beefier? I know there's a lot of fan art about that, but that's something that I've been wondering for a while, and I just wonder if there's like actual legit ways of ever finding out on that. I'm not quite sure if I should really encourage people to try to make more art of that, but seriously, if they do that, you need to get their mind out of the gutter. Well, anyway, we made full circles. We're back in the fight area. But let's see here. Because I want to, I am going to heal up, because why the frig not? So there's one last thing I'm going to do for the duration of this episode, and that's going to be making my way to our next destination, which is Dark Mountain, which is right there. I could potentially go down the desert, which will be quicker, I guess. But I actually have another reason for doing this. I want to double check something real quick, because I've been getting a lot of money, I guess, and some sellable items. I don't want to get rid of these mysterious shards, because they're going to prove that there's some very good use for something later. Wait. You can't buy. Never mind. They actually can't sell those. Okay, never mind. Wait, what's that? Point card. Oh, okay. That's just nothing of too importance. Also got that Reaper Cloth that'll make Dust Cloths evolve into Dusk Noir, one of my personal favorite Dark Ghost types. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes, guys. Here's an item I missed. Okay, how did that happen? Apparently I missed it. And it's just drugs. I could potentially sell these drugs because I don't really... Actually, in the past, I barely ever used them. I think it was from my... I kind of want to say... It was either my Emerald Let's Play, my Omega Ruby LP, or... one of my... Black Array 1 or 2 that I've done that I used it a lot. Yeah, I'm kind of overthinking it a little bit. Okay, that just leads me into a trainer fighter, which I don't need. Maybe going to the desert resort would probably be the better option, but oh well. Route 227. Fortunately, through here, you have only 6 new Pokemon that we can, 5 Pokemon that we can find, and 2 of them are evolution lines, and one of them we've already kind of gotten to know of a little bit, but there's a little bit more that I want to talk about. So let's get right to it and talk about Wheezing. A pure poison type with Levitate. Not much really needs to be said about this. This negates its weakness to ground. And unless you're going up against a Pokemon Mold Breaker, the only kind of damage that could be the worst out of it would be Psychic. Wheezing is one of the best physical walls in the... what's physical wall? Yeah, physical wall. It's decent in the way how it is, and if you plan on using a poison type in the post-game, Wheezing is a phenomenal choice. Great use for the Toxic in many ways. Sludge Bomb is a good one, but what really makes it stand out is the fact that it can know Self-Destruct and Explosion. Great moves that I consider to be last resorts. This is a very good Pokemon that can work in many ways, but if you really want one, be absolutely sure that you are aware of what to expect in the long run. It's hard to recommend, but if you plan on using one in the post-game, it'll be great to have, and it could be very good if you time it right. Next up, Rhyhorn. We actually kind of went over Rhydon, and pretty much everything I said about Rhydon from before implies with Rhyhorn. Guess the only real thing that I can say about Rhyhorn that hasn't been said about Rhydon is that it's the original Pokemon that's ever created in our world, so what else can I say about it? Well, actually, a couple of things. Before you evolve into Rhydon, it might not be a bad idea to look more into the moves and that Rhyhorn can learn earlier than Rhydon couldn't. The reason why I say it like that is because it can be decent in the way how it works. It has the same abilities as that as Rhydon, but be absolutely sure you don't have Lightning Rod for the ability because it's pretty much going to be worthless. That's pretty much all I ever really need to say about it. It applies with everything. Getting Rhyperior evolves Rhydon to have it evolve with a Protector. You get the gist. Next up, and yeah, I know, this one's talked about a lot, but Skarmory is one of the best physical walls you will find. I think it has base 140 defense. Has some very nice type coverage of being a steel flying type. Or a flying steel type. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I actually kind of like this a little bit more than most people, mostly because that it's more than just a defensive wall, but when training it in other ways, it can actually be used for being a pretty decent mixed attacker. Now, of course, I didn't pull out the notes center for this one as it is, but Sturdy, I believe in what ability that it'll have is the one to go for, and it is a very, very good Pokemon to have, to say the least. I definitely would recommend it if you just love it and need a really good defensive Pokemon in the post-game. Next up are Numel and Camerupt. Fire ground type Pokemon that has a major weakness to water. That's honestly not really a bad thing. Flamethrower naturally. Earthquake naturally, I think. It knows some pretty decent amount of moves that complement it for what it's really known for. Just don't hump this thing. Unless if you want to get eruption up your ass. Okay. I guess if you really want to have some decent fire or ground types, in fact, there's a Camerupt right there. They're on the slow side, but they can be useful for what they use, a magma armor or flame body. Not bad to say the least. At least, I think it has at least one of those, but like I said, I didn't pull up the notes for those because I thought we wouldn't be covering those, but I guess it might have just slipped my mind, but oh well. I kind of like these Pokemon, and back then, I originally meant to use a Numel on my team for a little while in a past game, but I ultimately decided against it because I kind of see the fire types and even the ground types and having a bad matchup. It was called Solid Rock, which is very nice. But yeah, very nice to say the least. Very well balanced. I think you might actually like this Pokemon to say the least. Okie dokie. That's enough bios. I was doing a little bit of some fighting just for experience grinding while I talked about those new Pokemon. Because there is actually something that's coming up here that you may want to consider not doing any more progression. Take a look. Hey! Oh, it isn't done! It's been a while! Grown so tough that you're training out here now. Everyone keeps getting tougher and tougher. And in doing that, they develop closer bonds with their Pokemon. For someone born overseas, this tough dude doesn't have an accent or anything. There's a volcano ahead of us called Stark Mountain. That blowhard buck got his on his way there as well. Gotta find the volcano's treasure before that guy does. If I could do that, a 21 win streak at the Battle Tower would be possible. You serious? You're going to Stark Mountain? Even the wild Pokemon there are very, very tough. Even if your Pokemon aren't well trained, they'll have a miserable time. Then again, that kind of challenge is an exciting prospect. But no matter what, you better be fully prepared. Gotta get ready for another tournament. Farewell! Wonder what kind of tournament you're talking about. Ah! If you ever need to do some training out here, well, here's a good place to do it. Why do NPCs that are like this one exist? They're kind of tricking you to rest there a little while longer. Oh, hi there! Yo, if it isn't done! Don't tell me you're going to Stark Mountain too? You're pretty wimpy. You sure you're going to be okay? Why am I asking? It's not like I care. Anyways, if we run into each other on Stark Mountain, the race is on to see who gets the Magma Stone first. I'll have you know, I don't really care so much about a certain Magma Stone, but I am very curious as to sort of what we'll find up. To be fair, I'm actually kind of glad that I ran into that NPC because, well, this trainer battle. Michaela. I actually kind of like the name Michaela. Breath is pretty much my go-to move. I guess it just depends if I get desperate and want to use Blizzard, but Frost Breath to critical hit, guaranteed. Nothing to hate about that, eh? Hypno. Some of the other Pokemon have not been very helpful for what's to come, unfortunately, but I'm sure that I will find some pretty good use of it for what's to come later on. I have been going into the Grand Underground lately, trying to find more of those shards. That's going to be helpful for what is also to come pretty soon, but that's not going to be until close to the end, though. And holy crap, Cloudy and Illuminate are in the high 70s, while the others are pretty much in the mid 70s. What the hell? I think I need to give these two a break or something. Well, then again, my Rainbow has been pretty hard to level up because of the max amount of experience that it needs to level up, but I feel like every time from when Sun does that, it's breaking the bones out of the opponent. You may be cute, I love your name, but I want to look more into some better normal types. Oh, who am I kidding? Meowth and Persian are some really good Pokemon, to say the least. Let's go down here. A piece of charcoal. Not that I really need it, but there you go. I could have sworn that I had a repel up. So I caught a camera up that solid rock, which reduces the super effective hit moves down quite a bit. Not bad, but then again, can't really help out well with that quad resistant or quad weakness to water, but wait a minute. Oh, you know what? I remember now. There was a ramp that was next to that Ace trainer that we saw from before. Now it's coming back to me. There we go. Move this way. Let's see here. I don't remember if you're a required fight. You are not. Can you look the other way, please? Can you look the other way, please? Okay, I know you can move. Do I seriously? Because I know I saw... You! I'm so glad that I don't have my face cam going, but I am flipping this guy off so much right now. That's how hard I'm doing it. And it actually kind of hurts a little bit. Ouch. You know what? Because of that, first time of me actually using Blizzard. Alright. You have him a champ. Alright. Go for a Moonblast, because it's not a special wall. You're a defensive wall. Oh. Can we talk about this? Okay, I guess if you want a low sweep of flying Pokemon, there you go. Yeah, seriously, Cloud is almost at level 80. And she's continuing to be my strongest Pokemon in terms of levels. What? Well, I guess we technically made it to Stark Mountain, I guess. But we're not going in there quite yet. This way. Do not be an ass to me. Do not be an ass. Thank God. Because I really don't want to get in any more fights. What's this? Life Orb! Luck be a lady tonight! And a bottle of drugs. Great. We don't need that in our lives. Repels, definitely. Repel those pesky mosquitoes. Terrible, I say. Okay, so. We made it to Stark Mountain. We covered a lot of ground, literally and figuratively. We're ending things off right here. Next time, we head off inside Stark Mountain, see what's going on in there, and maybe search for this magma stone while we're at it. See you guys then.